Imagine raising 4 kids that are within 6 years of each other. Now, one of them is still in diapers while the other one is tying their shoes and the other one is caught in their terrible tubes. Now, fast forward a couple years and imagine raising 4 teenagers at one time. By the time you get the last one off to school, you have about an hour before you have to start picking people up again. Now, fast forward a couple more years and imagine putting 4 kids through college where you have to pay for 16 years of college in a 12-year span. Now, anyone who can do that, I think, is a superhero. That's why my mom, Stacy Rubin, is my hero. She is a hero because she had the ability to raise 4 kids, all that were born 6 years of each other. She was able to fight back after she had a heart attack and for being the peacemaker of the family. Now, growing up with 3 other siblings, we had a lot of crazy schedules. We all played different sports, and my older brother and my younger brother both played hockey. Now, hockey in Texas does not have a lot of options, so they had to travel over an hour multiple times a week for practices, and on the weekends would have to go to Austin or Dallas or even out of the state in order to compete in tournaments. Now, my sister and I grew up playing softball, and in Houston there's a lot more options for softball, but we still had practices multiple times a week and tournaments on the weekend. Now, somehow my mom was able to keep track of all of our schedules, and she did that with a calendar. So we had a calendar on the back of our kitchen door, and that had everyone's after-school schedules, it had all of our sports schedules, and where we needed to be and when we needed to be there. Now, coming home from school, 4 kids at 4 different times, it was kind of crazy. We had a routine from the second that we got home till the second that we got into bed. We made sure once we got home to do our homework, get our after-school snack. We got to play outside until dinner. After dinner, we did our chores, took a shower, got 30 minutes of TV, and then eventually went to bed with a bedtime story. Now, for 4 kids, for their whole lives, my mom was able to make sure we didn't miss a single practice, a single tournament, and made sure we all got home from school and put into bed every night. That's pretty crazy. Now, a couple years later, whenever I was in 8th grade, my mom suffered a severe heart attack. At the time of the heart attack, she didn't even know what was happening. She came home from a run early Saturday morning, which she does every single day, and she wasn't feeling too well. She didn't know if it was maybe because of the heat or something else, but she didn't let that stop her. She went to our sporting events that weekend and even went to a concert that night with my father. Now, that Monday morning at work, she still wasn't feeling well, so she called the doctor to see if there was an open position where she could cut in. Fortunately, the doctor had an open position and my mom got to go on her lunch break while she was teaching. Now, once she got there, the doctor told her, call the school, call your family, you're not going back to school, you need someone to come up here, you've been suffering a severe heart attack. My mom was really confused as she's been in shape, she has no high cholesterol and no high blood pressure, and she thought that they just got the results mixed up with someone else. As she was waiting for someone to tell her that they had the charts mixed up with someone else, she realized that she actually had the heart attack. Now, this was a big hit to our family as she'd been the taxi driver for all of us, making sure that we got to and from school on time. So we had to step up and take a lot of responsibility while she was in the hospital. The heart attack was so severe that the doctor said that if she was not as good a shape as she was, or if she had been a male, that she would not have survived the heart attack. Now, my mom had committed to running a marathon that following January, and she didn't let her heart attack slow her down. After she was released from the hospital and she was taking vitamins and medication, she was able to still continue and complete the marathon in January, which was incredible, just a short few months after she had that heart attack. This just goes to show that she did not let anything slow her down and that she was determined that she was going to do this, and she put her mind to it and she didn't let that stop her. My mom does that in everything that she does in life. If she says she's going to do it, she'll do it, and she'll do it to the fullest extent. Now, the last thing why my mom is my hero is because she's the peacekeeper of the family. Now, having 2 daughters being teenagers at one time can be very crazy. We fought a lot, mostly because of my fault. As I always wanted to be my older sister, I always would take her clothes because I thought I wanted to be like her. Now, I thought it was super cool that I got to wear my sister's clothes, but my older sister thought it was not cool and I was taking her stuff without her permission. So we would fight all the time. My mom would always make sure that we kept the peace in the family make sure that we were able to settle those fights and was able to make sure that we learned something from all the fights that we got into. She didn't want us to stay mad at each other, and so she would make sure that we settled the peace among each other. Now, she does that in every aspect of her life. If there's conflict, she's always the one that tries to resolve it, always tries to make sure people are seeing eye to eye and always see things from other people's perspectives. Now, my mom being able to raise 4 kids at one time, able to bounce back from a heart attack, and be the peacemaker of the family are just some of the reasons of why she's my hero. Now imagine raising 4 kids, then 4 teenagers, and then putting 4 kids through college. She's devoted her last 25 years of her life to us, making sure that we have the best opportunities and grow up to be well-mannered and well-respected adults. Now I think anyone who can do that is well-deserving to be admired and honored. Thank you. Dad, we need you. Marissa.